Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm talking about Wonder Woman 1984. Film came out this year, directed by Patty Jenkins, starring Gal Gadot, as we all know. It's a 2.5 hour runtime, and I'd say the first sort of third of that film actually feels like a sort of classic Superman film, one of the Christopher Reeves ones, which was kind of nice. It had that sort of like the contrast of the colours that was very reminiscent of the era, really. Um, so that was quite nice. Some of the writing going into this, I don't think was particularly strong. There is some really cheesy lines that I think they could have done without. Some of them work quite well because it's the 80s, some of them don't really land particularly well. And there's also this, like, what they were classed as like everyday sexism, which I'm getting fed up with that. We had it in, like, was it the recent Terminator, the Birds of Prey. Now this, it's just tiresome. But there's some really good action scenes in this. The car chase scene that I think everyone has seen in the trailer that takes place in Egypt, I'd say was probably one of my favourites of the film. It was incredibly well done, and I just loved every minute of it. We finally do get to see the invisible jet, and that's done in a very intelligent way, and I loved it. I really did. There are some issues, or some more issues that I have with the film, similar to the first film, where the sort of end fight was very dark. This one isn't as dark as the first Wonder Woman film, but it's still quite dark, so I don't feel they've learned their lesson from that. When you have the character, obviously, of Wonder Woman in the gold suit at the very end of the film, and you're facing off against Cheetah, who is quite a sort of flamboyant character anyway, there's no need for it to be so dark, and unfortunately it is quite dark, and we've seen a lot of what was in the film from the trailer, so I think that was a bit of a disappointment, to be honest. Other than that, like I said, there are some great action scenes. The suit looks fantastic. Gal Gadot is amazing as always. Chris Pine was hilarious in the moments he was meant to be, and heartbreaking in others. I think the chemistry between those two is phenomenal. And as much as I want to say, let's have Chris Pratt. God, this is Chris Pine. God, did I say Chris Pratt? No. Chris Pine. As much as I want to say get him back for the next one, I think the character of Steve Trevor is now done. It was kind of a good sort of send off for him, I think. This. I have seen some both good and bad reviews for this film, and I don't think either of them really do this film justice. I don't think it's as bad as some of the critics are making it out to be, but I also don't think it's as good as some of the critics make it out to be. It is a pretty sort of standard Hollywood blockbuster. It's a good sort of enjoyable popcorn flick. There is some things obviously I have issues with. Another big one is you've got the film set in the 80s, and there was one song that I remember from that film from the decade, and I'm sure, please fact check me if I'm not correct on this, but I think it was it Frankie Goes to Hollywood, Two Tribes. You don't get to hear the whole song, and it's the moment when, again, we've seen it from the trailer, where Barbara Minerva sort of announces herself as a bit of a character, let's say. So you have her and Wonder Woman at the same gala with Pedro Pascal's Maxwell Lord, and it felt like it was setting up something, but then nothing happened. So there was no real sort of defining moment for me really for sort of Cheetah to really announce herself, which was a shame, because I would see as Cheetah as probably one of the more defining villains for Wonder Woman. Other than that, Kristen Wiig does just okay. Again, it's a little bit annoying in the fact that I feel like every character she plays in a film is this sort of bumbling idiot. I can't say I like her that much, but I think she's better than that. But overall, yeah, I mean, I guess I've got a lot of criticism for it, but I still think it's an enjoyable film. I do think the sort of the spectacle of it is enough to carry you through. And to be honest, it kind of felt quite nice to be back in the cinema after this year, you know, where everything has been different, to say the least. But if you are a fan of Wonder Woman, then I think you'll get a lot of enjoyment out of this. There is a fun, I think kind of unnecessary cameo by Linda Carter. But if you're a fan of Wonder Woman, you'll probably enjoy this. If you're a fan of the DC Universe, you probably get a little bit of enjoyment out of this. But I mean, I'd say it's a pretty sort of middle of the road film, to be honest. If you get a chance to watch it, I'd say yeah, but I wouldn't say it's something to really rush out to the cinema to see, as we've seen a lot of it from the trailers anyway. But guys, what are you guys thinking? Are you guys excited to see Wonder Woman 1984? Obviously, it's been officially released over here at selected cinemas. It's not out in the US until, is it Boxing Day or is it Christmas Day? One or the other. Let me know what you think about it down in the comments, and I always like to hear from you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.